2 days the same in hypnosis. I never get bored or tired of hypnotherapy or seeing clients or talking to them or video sessions because every session is different. Even though most things that people face are the same two or three things that they always face, but they're disguised, like I mentioned before, into different things. But it's never boring. It's always amazing to me.
What are the 2 or 3 things of issues that people generally face?
I found out over the years, most of what we face has to do with our childhood. And I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that listening to this or watching us. It is true. First 2, 3, 4, 5 years, things that happen to us, it causes the foundation of what we face in the next 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Now, some people are taught to be flexible as they're growing up by their parents, or they learn on their own. Some people are not. That flexibility makes a huge difference because later on, if they're flexible enough, they can forgive the parents or whoever did whatever they did to them. But if they're not flexible, that sticks to them and they're always deep inside. They may know the source, they may not know the source, but it's always something bugging them. It's like there's always something that's stuck, and something is like they cannot get past that hump. That's one thing. The other thing is a relationship, which it comes back again to the relationship. For most people, going back to the relationship they had with their parents. And if the parents taught them how to be in a relationship with someone else, themselves or a friend or future spouse, if they taught them that, then that person who was growing up past 3, 4, 5 years old and gets into society and start talking to people and starting to get into relationships, they find out that, okay, if they're taught, they know, okay, I can make the change, I can be flexible, I can make it happen. But if they're not taught, then that's it. They get stuck. Many times, unless they go after self-improvement and make changes themselves, which is still comes back to flexibility they were taught when they were raised first few years, it would be very difficult for them to make that change. So those couple of things are the main things I found out. And it's amazing when you do regression, things that can come up, you know. And sometimes people know what it was, they even remember the memory, but in hypnosis, they look at it from a different point of view. So think about this. If you are 35 years old, if you're 40 years old, something happened to you when you're 2, 3, or 4 or 5 years old, you may remember it or you may not remember it. You may even remember it, but you may not remember all the details of it. Something that changed your life forever. And now, 30, 40, 50 years later, you're busy with work. If you're in a relationship, you're busy with a relationship, making money. You have so many other things that clouds your mind. It's sometimes difficult to make a connection between what happened to you years ago and what you're facing now, because the connection is not always that obvious. Connection sometimes is very difficult, actually. And if you want, I can give you an example that make it easier for you listeners.